So I run 4 online businesses all from this laptop right here. And this laptop has everything that I needed to earn my first $1 million online. Now, if you took this laptop and cloned it or just stole this one, technically you would have everything that you need to make your first or next $1 million online. So in this video, rather than talk about the theory and ideas on how to run an online business, what I'm going to do is just unlock my laptop and walk you through everything that I have on it. I'm going to show you how I have things organized, what tools and apps I use, a couple of productivity hacks, and by the end of this video, you should have a great list of things that you can implement on your laptop to turn it into a money-making machine. So let's get into it. All right, so let's start with my desktop. So you can see that it is very clean right now, and this is pretty out of the normal for me because I am a very messy, frantic worker. But you're going to see that on the left, I have all of these customized folders for all my businesses and projects. And these make it really easy to kind of flip through these, get things for the specific businesses. A lot of times these are design files, documents, content, images, different things like that. I love to be able to get in. You can see here if you just go to the Get Info, you're able to drag and drop a new custom image for your folders. You can download a folder image like this on Google, slap on your own icon over the top of that, and before you know it, you've got custom folders. So the other thing I have is an extra folder, and this is where I throw all the extra crap that starts to accumulate on my desktop. And when I don't have the time to necessarily go through those and dump some in the trash and organize the rest, I can throw in this extra folder to keep things organized. And then when I do have time or when I'm feeling motivated to do so, I can go through and start organizing the extra files in here. The other thing that I want to talk about is my background image. I always like to have a background or a desktop image that isn't super crazy or complex and make my desktop feel messy, but also I like to have something that is a constant motivator and can give you a little burst of happiness, joy, or endorphins. So I love to have a picture of my family right here. It's a good constant reminder for me. So with that said, let's look at the different apps that I'm using. Again, with my app toolbar at the bottom, I like to keep things really clean. So only the tools that I absolutely need day after day. And the first one that I want to talk about is Notion. Now, I have a full walkthrough of my Notion in a different video, and if you're interested in that, you can click up here at this link. But Notion is essentially my hub or my home base for everything that I do. I organize, I delegate, I write, I have different spaces for each of my individual businesses. I do all of my tasks and to-dos, my calendars, literally everything is done inside Notion. So you're going to see here I have what I call my CEO dashboard, and right away I have my goals, my health focuses, my weekly to-dos with a checklist right here. I've got a couple quotes as good reminders. Here I also keep my key performance indicators, and down at the bottom I have some links to additional future goals. Now over on the right side, I have my calendar, which is looking pretty empty right now because I've not yet planned for this coming month. But this is a great way to see upcoming events and make sure that I'm prepared for different trainings, meetings, things like that that I might have. So over here on the left, you're going to see a couple different tabs for my individual businesses. I have ones for Paid Pro, which is my membership. It's a paid membership for web designers. Inside, I've got a calendar. I keep track of our design challenges, any content like testimonials. This is where I write out all of my trainings and also my different goals. Now, an example of one of these is if I go to this January revamp, I've got the different tasks that I need to do for this website revamp, including budget, notes, site inspiration, ideas, and I'm also able to tag my team members so they know which responsibilities are theirs. The other thing that I like to keep track of in here is my weekly newsletter. You can see here I've got a list of my newsletters, which ones have been sent, and as I click on these, you're able to see the content of that newsletter. And then again, my team members are able to get in here, see which ones are ready to be sent, and then send those out to my email list. One thing that I really love about Notion is it has a lot of different layouts that you can customize according to how you like to see your content. So for example, in my YouTube channel right here, this is where I keep track of all of my video ideas, my brainstorms, and then I can start to attach thumbnails to them and then move them to when I'm writing the script, to film, to post. And much like the newsletter tab, once I click on these, I have all the information inside of here that I can use as the script for my YouTube videos. So overall, Notion is probably one of the two tools I absolutely could not live without, and I'm going to share the other one with you here in a few minutes. But if you're not using Notion, this is the best place to start. So let's close that up and head next to my Slack. Slack is a communication tool. If you are communicating with team members or clients via email or text, you need to stop right now because you're going to start using Slack and it's going to change your life. I love Slack because it has the Mac app and it also has an app for your phone that is by far the best way to communicate. Not only can you message and comment, but you can also include attachments. You can comment on people's specific posts and create threads. And also you can see here on the left that you have different channels to keep things organized, and you can choose which team members can access and see and be part of which channels. So I've got channels for which I label as important. I've got channels for my Chrome extension team, for my membership, for all client SEO campaigns, design campaigns, and then just general channels. And again, I love having this hub as a place where everyone can communicate. And the cool thing about Slack is it has different integrations with apps like Notion and different things where you can connect everything to make sure that when you get a notification on one tool, it notifies everyone on the other tools that your team might be using. Now, one of those tools that you might be using is Asana. This is something that we use for project management. In fact, this is what we were using before we started using Notion. So we're actually slowly phasing out of this, but it is a good option. You can see here we have all of our different client projects. And also this is where we keep a lot of our agency information. We have our tools and all of our login information to make sure we don't lose that. We have timelines to make sure that we're hitting every deadline for every project. We keep track of team payments, content, and everything else. So Asana is a really cool tool. I would definitely recommend looking into it. However, it is a paid tool, and so you just want to make sure that it's a good fit before you start paying a monthly subscription for it. So of course I've got my Spotify. I always love listening to music when I am working. I really love to search like high energy instrumental or focus music. These are all really good playlists. But also when I get a chance to do work that requires less focus, I always find myself listening to some Post Malone or Taylor Swift. And so that music really helps me focus up, and it kind of just keeps things lively throughout the day, helps you keep up your energy. All right, so those are the main tools that I'm using for kind of project management, communication, efficiency. The only other tool that I want to talk about in terms of that, actually I've got two more. But I've got my Adobe Illustrator here. Now, as a web designer, I know it's probably frowned upon that I am not using Figma, and I am continuing to learn Figma. But by the time I realized I should be learning Figma, I already had a design team. And so for a lot of things, I still use Illustrator. You can see here that I use it to design my thumbnails. And I also am even using it to design websites, which is what I should be doing in Figma. But for now, this works for me, and I've become really efficient at Illustrator, and it's just a really great way to design whatever you need, whether that is images, thumbnails, assets for a website, an actual website, whatever you might need. It's a great place just to get creative. And so Illustrator, again, an awesome tool. It is a paid tool, and a lot of people do feel that it is too expensive. But if you want to try it out, I think you'll really love it. But also Figma is going to be a great tool for you to look into as well. So closing this out, the last one that I want to talk about is my calendar. My calendar is big time for me. Every single day I'm utilizing my calendar. You might be asking yourself, okay, why doesn't Peyton use the calendar in Notion? And the simple answer is Notion's calendar just is not quite as complex as this native Apple calendar is. And one of the biggest things I love about this is that I can color code all of my tasks and have this really clean layout. I'm sure things like this could probably be done fairly closely in Notion, but for the most part, this is a perfect setup for me. You can see I've got things color coded for managerial, for my different businesses, YouTube, calls, personal health, my personal brand, Instagram, anything that I might need. And then I lay out my day beforehand to make sure that I know exactly what I should be working on every minute of the day. The other thing this has helped me do is to time block my time to make sure that I know when I'm doing kind of deep focus work, when I have secondary work, which is when I can listen to my Post Malone. But also it helps me feel accomplished at the end of the day, because if you just dive into the day without any sort of game plan or to-do list or outline, you're going to get to the end of the day and feel like you were just spinning your wheels all day and you don't know exactly what you accomplished. So I would definitely recommend using some sort of calendar tool like this. The other thing I love is when people book a call, it automatically shows up on my calendar just to make sure that I get those reminders and I don't miss anything. All right, so now I want to dive into my Google Chrome. Now, everything that I do on the web is via Google Chrome. And when I open this, the first thing that you're going to see is an extension called Toby. This is basically just a bookmarks toolbar on steroids. And it's something I only recently started using, but it has been a total game changer for me because I'm the type of person that by the end of the day, I've got over 100 tabs open, a bunch of different windows, and my computer is just an absolute mess. So basically what Toby does is it gives you a really clean way to organize tabs by businesses, projects. I really like this because then I don't have to worry about a ton of windows being open. You'll see that when I open up a new one, and let's just say I go to Google Docs, for example, and in my Toby over here on the right side, it's going to show me what window is open, and I can actually drag and drop this tab into my toolbar, desktop, or dashboard, whatever you want to call it, and it keeps things really organized. So a few of these that I want to go through, you can see that I've got my Gmail here. That's the first thing that I open once I get on my laptop. I don't like to use like the native mail app. Gmail is just much more effective. You can see inside my Gmail, I am really bad at letting emails go unread, so I definitely need to go through these. But there is one tool that I really, really like for Gmail, which is called Mail Track. And this allows you to track your emails and see which ones have been open, which ones have been read. And it's also going to send you reminders if you need to follow up on those that haven't been open. And also it will remind you if you need to respond to an email that you haven't. So Mail Track and Gmail together are a really great combination. So going back to Toby, the other general one I have is Webflow. Now, like I mentioned before, there are two tools that I absolutely could not live without. Number one is Notion, and number two is Webflow. And this is where I build all of my websites. And you can see we've got a ton of projects going on in here. We've started to drop them into folders. We have built well over 100 Webflow sites for clients, and a lot of those we've transferred to our clients' Webflow accounts, but we've still always got a lot going on in here. For example, my Pate Pro membership site, this is where I have designed this, landing pages, any types of blogs. You can do it all on Webflow, but it has all the benefits of a drag and drop type site builder and also all the benefits of a complex development tool. And so it gives you everything that you need to build out landing pages and websites for all of your businesses. So Webflow is my go-to. Now, again, I've got access to my Google Drive here. I've got Calendly, which is my calendar plugin that plugs into all of my websites where people can go on, they can fill out a form, they can see my schedule, book a call, and it's going to automatically send them a Zoom link. And so I like to have a link here so I can check my availability just to make sure on weeks like this week, I don't have a bunch of calls that land on the morning of, say, Thanksgiving. So making sure to stay up to date on this calendar is really important. And you can also integrate this with your native Mac calendar, again, just to make sure that you don't miss any of your calls. Next, I have Icon Scout. This is the asset library that I use almost daily. You can see inside here, it's got 3D illustrations, Lottie animations, regular flat illustrations, icons. If you click on any of these, they've got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of different assets that you can use for social media posts, for websites, presentations, whatever it is. And once you pay for your subscription, these are all free to download. So an awesome library. Paying for something like this, I think it's maybe $20, $30 a month, but you have unlimited access, and it is going to elevate the overall look and design of all of your work, and also it's going to make you a lot more efficient. You're not going to have to go to Google to try to find some free stock images that are free for commercial use. So next, I have all the things for my membership. Again, a direct link to that PatePro website. I've got a link to my Memberstack here, which I'm not going to go too in depth with, but Memberstack basically allows you to create a custom membership dashboard and experience through Webflow or whatever site builder you're using. I really like Memberstack. And then I've got a direct link to my private Facebook group. A lot of people say, oh, like Facebook is dead, nobody's using Facebook, but this is still the best community platform. And we have a really active community here in our PatePro group where people are asking questions, sharing their wins, sharing resources. This is what you get as part of my paid membership, and I love Facebook for this reason. Then I have some stuff for my SEO and Webflow course, which is an SEO course specifically for Webflow users. I've got a link to that website, and then I've also got a link to our Teachable dashboard, which is where we house this course. And you can see here we actually house another course, which is Web Design Sales Mastery. It's going to track all of our enrollments, our revenue, all of those different things. Teachable is a really, really great tool to post your courses and sell them. It basically does all the heavy lifting for you. And so if you're looking to create some sort of online educational course, look into Teachable. I'd highly recommend it. And then we have a couple client links. And then down here at the bottom, I like to keep track of links to all of my financial institutions. I use Stripe for basically everything in terms of people paying me. I use Hello Bonsai for my agency work, so sending invoices, proposals, contract. You can see here we're tracking all of our agency finances, which is really nice just to kind of see that general overview. And then I also have Chase Bank, Fidelity, PayPal, all the other financial institutions that I use for my banking, for investing, whatever it might be. Okay, so now I want to talk about a couple efficiency hacks that I'm using on my laptop just to help me be more productive and utilize the full power of my laptop, okay? So the first ones that I want to talk about are my corner shortcuts, and you can see here when I slide to the bottom right corner, it's going to pop up a notes pad. Oh, it's going to pop up my notes pad right here, and I love being able to take quick notes when I'm on a call or whatever it might be, and I don't have time to open up my Notion or my phone. These quick notes are really nice, and then if I swipe to the bottom left corner, it's going to close all of my tabs and open all my tabs. So anytime I get feeling overwhelmed with too many windows open, I just go to the bottom left and it's going to clear things out for me. Now, if we go into our system preferences, and I'm going to make sure that I can find these, there are a couple other productivity hacks that I've used that have really helped me out. So first I'm going to go to trackpad, or if you're using a mouse. But if you look down to, let's see, point and click, I like to move my tracking speed up just a little bit. Having a mouse that moves faster, believe it or not, it makes you a lot more efficient. And so I would recommend cranking that up. It might take a little bit of time to get used to, but once you are used to it, you're just going to be flying around, and you're going to be a machine on the trackpad. There are also a couple other gestures that you can add, multi-finger swipes, moving between windows, different things like that. They're going to be a huge help for you. Now, the other thing that I like to do, if I go over to my keyboard and go to shortcuts, you can see that I'm starting to implement a few app shortcuts like for Notion. So if I click Command G, it's going to immediately open up my Notion. I would recommend using these keyboard shortcuts. I have shortcuts for different tools like Webflow and Illustrator, and it makes you so much more efficient. So don't be afraid to start implementing these. So the other thing that I really like to do, and I'll show you this here with my Windows, is if you click and hold this green button, you can either enter full screen or you can tile window to left of the screen, and then you can open another one to the right of the screen. This is something I really like to do, especially when I'm working on a project where I'm developing on the left and I'm looking at, say, a Figma file of a website on the right. Being able to see things side by side is a really awesome way to increase your efficiency. And so I definitely recommend using that. And then again, using my side swipe gestures, I can move over to those other windows. And then another thing that I've just implemented, because I have team members and clients in several different time zones, is up here under my notifications. I have this little widget that is going to tell me my time and then the time of my different team members, Justin, Eric, Anil, and then everybody else seems to be on similar time zones. But this is a really cool way just to make sure that you're on top of time, team, efficiency, calendars, schedules, timelines, deadlines, everything that you might need. So overall, that is a quick run through of my laptop. Again, this has everything that I need to run all of these businesses and live wherever I want and whatever kind of life I want. And so go through your laptop, make sure that you are cleaning things up, organizing, using these shortcuts and these hacks, doing everything that you can to become more productive, more efficient. And if you can master this tool, if you can master your laptop, you're going to be able to do anything that you put your mind to. So thanks so much for watching this video, and we'll catch you in the next one.